YouTube? It's Amazing Buys, and today the family is taking a trip to the zoo. Guys, I haven't been here since I was a kid, so everything looks brand new. What's interesting is in random areas of the zoo, you can find these murals painted on the wall. It looks really nice. So during this visit, they actually have an event going on, which is the Asian Paper Lantern Festival. So you'll see all these designs all over the zoo, and it is amazing to look at. Hopefully you guys seen my short this morning. I have some of the exhibits on display. Anyways, guys, every so often in the zoo you will see some arrows pointing out to the different areas. This is the African section, so the first animals that we spotted was the flamingos. These are a little bit different than the neon pink ones that I'm used to seeing. They also had a giant tortoise on display, and this tortoise was 70 years old. This thing was huge, and it was in the middle of breakfast, so it looks like it had a bunch of, leaves that it was chomping down on, and I'm telling you guys, this was definitely a sight to see. Next up, we have some warthogs, and the first thing I thought of was Pumbaa from Lion King. They definitely have some bigger husks than what I thought. I think they're called husks. So in this area, they have the bongos, and the color of them is so vivid and pretty. We actually got to see a baby one nursing, so that was interesting for the kids to see. Their display area is actually really, really big. So they have plenty of birds in this zoo, and this is more of the paper lantern, guys. It is all over. This is on a bridge, and it is so pretty. They also have lights. Unfortunately, you can't really see that in the morning time, but I'm sure it looks beautiful at night. And just the scenery, like the nature and stuff around the zoo, is so pretty. The upkeep of this zoo, I would say, is pretty good. And this area is the rhinos, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, there you go, some rhinos. And this is when we actually took baby out of his seat. This is the one moment where he was actually like, oh my goodness, what is that? And so that was a pretty good look at some rhinos. They were pretty much just chomping down on some grass, and they have interesting little infos on each of the areas, I guess exhibits. So that was talking about the rhino horn. This was another bridge that we were passing by, and again, I'm sure this would look beautiful at night. The lights are actually on. It's just that you can't really see them because of the sun. And as far as the weather, that day it was perfect. It wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold, plenty of sunshine, so it was a perfect day at the zoo. Now, the paper lanterns are huge. It's going to range from small to big. So these are some huge giraffes. They even have vegetables, guys. This was so beautiful. I really, really like this paper lantern event that they had, but I think it's ending at the end of this month. Not sure if it's a regular thing that the zoo does. So this is more of the bongos. Like I said, their area is pretty big. That one's over there licking on the licking on the bowl. This is the zebra. My brother was saying that this looked traumatized. I don't know why it was just standing in the open field like that, but this was the only zebra that we saw. And this is just more of the vegetable paper lanterns. Again, I'm trying to get a close-up for you guys to see because it was so beautiful. So at this point, they had some restrooms, and then every so often, like in each section, they have a reptile room, so you're able to see snakes and lizards and frogs and all of that. So on each display, they have the name of the animal, what country you can find them in, what type of stuff that they eat, so it's really interesting. This is another mural that they have, and I'm telling you, around the zoo, the murals are beautiful. So this was the first snake that I seen that was wide awake and moving. Not sure exactly what it was looking at, but it was interesting to see it use its body strength to go up the wall. And so this is a lizard that I can see from the bottom, I guess, that was just sticking on the window, minding its own business. And in the same display, they had a chameleon that's on the top. So anytime you're looking in these reptile displays, make sure you're looking all around, because some of the stuff seems like it's camouflaged with all the greenery in it. If I'm not mistaken, this is a python, and it was huge. I was not expecting to see it up close like this. But what I found really interesting is that its tail is so small, and then pretty much goes from small to like fat. And you can see like its skin wrinkled around the sticks. I can understand why people don't like snakes. It's just really weird to look at. And then this was a lizard inside the same display, and they weren't really messing with each other. This is another mural that was outside the bathroom. Like I said, you'll find it in random places. This is the elephant display. They have a huge yard, and they're actually two females. The zookeeper was actually explaining that they don't literally like to be next to the male, so they keep them separate. And then inside a little cave where that display is, they have like some carvings on the wall. It has elephants and just different things there. So yeah, that was a really big area for the elephants. I wish they would have came closer while we were there, but we wanted to continue moving along. So this is another display. They have more paper lanterns. And guys, this one was one of my favorites. They had butterflies all on this bridge. It was so beautiful. Even without the lights, the sunlight just made it look super, super nice. Next up, we passed by the stingray pool that they have. It's actually like a thing where you can go and pet them, but we will come back to that later. We wanted to see the lions. So unfortunately, only the male lion was wide awake. The female ones were laying down sleeping. And so he was just walking around, looking around the perimeter. He wasn't really doing much. Like I said, we went really, really early in the morning. So that was pretty much what we got from the lions, but just looking at them, like how they're huge, you can see their muscles. It's just something really like majestic to look at. Again, this area is really, really huge. So if you are looking for like a photo op or, just to get a good recording of them, do not worry then if you go there and you're like, oh man, it's people crowded up, because they have this area too where you can look at them behind the glass. So they have many different angles that you can look at the different animals. And by now he finally sat down and was, tired, and the girls are still sleeping. So they had a lot of bamboo, and I just loved how that looks. That is a squirrel running along with us, and let me tell you guys, the squirrels are not afraid of humans. I think by now the squirrels there are used to them, because they will run right around your feet. Anyways, guys, we are going towards the garden area. So they have some elephants, paper lanterns, and some hyena ones. So like I said, guys, the paper lanterns are on point. So they have multiple garden sections. This is actually an area that we're going to go into later on. That area is really, really big. You'll actually see behind the display area that I was in earlier. So now we are at the giraffes. Now when you purchase your ticket, you can actually pay to feed certain animals. So if you have not paid, no worries. But this area does get pretty crowded. So you have a line of people that are feeding the animals, and you have people that are standing around because they want to get a picture of the giraffes. But if you keep walking, they have a bigger area where you can see them roaming around. You can see some of the zookeepers even feeding the giraffes there. Moving further along, you will see more of that garden area. You can see the hippos. They have an elephant statue. People get a lot of photo ops here. Now it says do not climb them, but you can stand next to them and take pictures. And it still looks really nice. Now this kind of threw our family off. We were like, what in the world is that? And it was actually the paper lanterns, and they have bugs on the tree, and they are huge. Most of the animals that you will see like that looks like that is on the bigger side. And this is the monkey display. There is one in the corner, and guys, when you hear these monkeys, it is a lot louder than you think. It's one thing to hear them on TV, but in person, and it gets a lot louder than that. So one thing that I really liked is that they had these bridges all around where they can go through like these tunnels. It has hammocks and like different objects for them to play with. And the monkeys were going right through there. They were lounging, they were playing, some of them were snacking. So I thought that was really, really cool, like for them to be able to move around, just not in that tree, but to go to different areas. I don't know, I just think it's wrong when You see certain places and they keep animals locked up and confined in small spaces. So, like, at least these animals, they had room. They look like they're being well taken care of. So, this is the lemur section. This one, again, is pretty big. And they were just climbing up the ropes. Like, they had different things to keep them occupied and busy. And they're like a natural type of habitat. And again, these are those tunnels that the monkeys are going through. And like I said, it is a really big space. Randomly around the zoo, you will see paw prints in the cement, depending on what area that you're in. And this is a sign that you are about to enter the gorilla area. They also have some donation places as well when you enter exhibits, so you can donate, to save the animals and to help out. So this is just a little section talking about, the gorillas, where they come from, a little bit of information about them. And like I said, it's early in the morning, so they were pretty much lounging around. This one is one of the younger ones. It's not a baby, but it was young. So it was just picking up things, snacking, looking around. I don't know. I love monkeys in the monkey section. I was hoping that this one would get closer. I thought it was coming, and then he plopped right on down and ate his snacks. But yeah, this is like probably one of my favorite section. You had some gorillas in the corner, just kind of just grazing and looking around. And then this little one was next to us and just started picking his nose and eating it. All the kids were like, ew. And then a baby one showed up out of nowhere and got a piggyback ride, and then he was on his way. That was like one of the highlights of the day. All right, well, before we left this area, we just passed by these two. They were lounging around. Like I said, really, really early in the day. And then this was a bigger one at a distance. Like this area is really, really big. I would say that they have the same, if not more, space than the lions do. And so no worries if there is a big crowd around this area, which most likely there will be. You can walk further down and there'll still be like more of the exhibit, and you can see them from different angles. But yeah, only the smaller ones came up to the glass. And then these are the areas that the lemurs are in. Their eyes are very, very yellow. Like they're very, very noticeable. So yeah, it went from gorillas to lemurs. So these ones had a couple of ones that was out front and center, and then the babies were underneath this section. Moving further along, they had more of those paper lantern bugs on display in the trees. I mean, it was just a really, really nice nature walk as well, despite the huge bugs. And then this was the next pretty walkway on display. These are the parrots. They're highlighting that area that you're about to go into. And it was so beautiful. I love the huge feathers that they have. But before you get to that area, they actually have a gift shop and some restrooms. They have an eating area. Now, all along the park, you're going to find like random snow cone stands and stuff. But I really, really like the look of this area because it kind of looks a little ancient. And then you have the nature around you. And then look at this giraffe. This was so nice. This is a statue, by the way. And then they have like this. This is just me messing around while everybody is, using the restrooms. They had this butterfly, and I was like, oh my gosh, I touched it. Before it flew away and left me. Okay. So moving along, I like this area because, like I said, everything kind of looks ancient. So they have these fish underwater. You see how the bridge looks. I was like, well, what am I about to walk into? And sure enough, they had the jaguars. So this one, I think, was the male. And then they had the mom and cub. Now she was just sitting there cleaning the cub. And they were just kind of lounging around. And I think the cub ended up getting into the pool area. So this area is completely gated. So it's like a wraparound type of display. So like I said, don't be discouraged if there's a large crowd, because if you move further down, there'll be more opportunities for you to see the jaguar. Okay, so a big old snake paper lantern, and then we're getting into the area where it's another display, and it is the Lost Temple. So this is nice for photo ops, and then you also get to learn about the jaguars. My husband's sitting here making fun of me how I say that. Anyways, They have footage of the cubs and the adult jaguars. Anyways, on display on the TV, and then you can also donate to them as well. So in the Lost Temple, they have some reptiles, of course. They have some frogs, they have snakes lounging around, staring. That one is sleeping. Look at its eye. These lizards were huge, by the way. Definitely look like they are eating good. These are some more snakes. And guys, if you do not like snakes, do not go into those temples because they have a huge one. This one I got a shot of up close. Oh my goodness, it was so huge. Look at its eyes. Oh my goodness. Everybody was wowed by this. It was just sitting there pressed against the glass. And like I said, it was huge. So they had a bat display. The zookeeper was actually cleaning out that area, but they were flying around so you can see. Every so often they would stop and hang upside down. And then these are some more lizards that they had. And this is a huge anteater. I don't know why, but like I was not expecting it to be that hairy. And they also had some squirrel monkeys in the same display. These monkeys are so cute. But yeah, guys, look at all that hair, and you can see its face, the snout, and everything. Okay, so that is a random lizard that was smiling at us. It didn't move that entire time. It just sat there smiling. So yeah, they have a bunch of reptiles. So every time you see those random exhibits, there are reptiles in there. So that is a turtle, and then just some more lounging around on the branches. So now we are leaving that hidden temple. Again, they are talking about that you can donate for the jaguars. And this is the squirrel monkey display. I was watching this one, and it was like getting some snacks out of that basket. The kids really like this, and that monkey is so cute. So I followed him to see what he was doing, and he was just pretty much snacking on whatever that is. This is a capybara, and they always have that resting bee face. They just look like that all the time. Their natural face, they just look angry. This is actually a display where if you talk into the log, it's supposed to be interactive and actually talk back to you, but it wasn't working that day. So moving further along, if you guys see these huts, if it doesn't say authorized employees only, then you can enter it because this actually displays. If you're not thinking about it, you will walk right past it thinking it's for zoo employees, but make sure you check the door first and actually look at the signs because most likely it is an exhibit. So before entering that bird exhibit, I just wanted to show you in the rest area they have looks like, you know, like the Lost Temple type of stuff that you can take really nice pictures. There's bamboo and just plants everywhere. It looks so nice. Okay, moving into the exhibit, guys, you can spot some birds in here. They have food that is around, and the birds actually will walk along the sidewalk where you are at. Some of them will. So they're pretty friendly. I mean, nobody really messed with them. They kind of just looked at them and took pictures and let them walk by. They have a pond that's in the middle that is really, really nice and clear. You can see the fish, the turtles. It looks beautiful. Like the water kind of looks like glass kind of. And then they have the birds just swimming on top. This was a random big bird that they had just sitting on the rail. We were trying to look and see if there was a card that will describe what type of animal that is, but I didn't see any. And I'm so glad that I got this footage right here. It spread out its wings randomly and then put it right back in and stared at us. So yeah, everybody in the area was pretty amazed when it did that. Now this area has a lot of birds on it. Make sure that you look up because they are all resting on that roof as well. Next up, we have the otters, and the way that they swim is just so majestic. And they're looking at you right in your eyes while they're swimming. Just the way that their body moves. Wow, it's just so amazing to see them swim underwater. I wish I could swim that good. And if you go up to the glass, they actually like interact with you. So if you move to the left, they will move to the left. Move to the right, they'll move to the right. And just the way that the bubbles are just coming off of them. Oh my goodness, guys, it was so amazing. Just trust me. So this is a different bird area. And then you have parrots in this one, and the parrots are big. They were kind of further up in the trees, but they just, cock their head and look at you as you're walking by. So we finally left that area. This was another beautiful paper lantern display of monkeys. And guys, look at this walkway. This is like flamingo feathers, and it is beautiful. They did such a great job, whoever decorated this. It looks amazing. I love these walkways. So that is a carousel that they have, and these are the more popular flamingos that I think people are more familiar with. They're the Caribbean flamingos. So this area is actually right behind this walkway. A lot of people was passing by and missing it. They have a seating area, and guys, you'll see these plaques all over the zoo. I guess it's in honor of people who have passed away or families. That it was a 4D theater that they have where you can pay extra when you purchase your ticket for that experience. But if you don't have that, you can do the children's maze, which is really, really beautiful. This area is going to lead to a whole different section of the zoo. So you see that area behind the polar bears? That is actually a splash pad area that they have. So I guess they have like the big trees and the polar bears and stuff like that due to the holidays. Unfortunately, that area was closed. Why? I'm not sure. Maybe because it's been really rainy. But yeah, that area was closed. And like I said, you will find like those snow cone carts in different areas of the zoo. I'm guessing they have that for really, really hot days. So they have a restroom area here, place to sit down, and you will see like the holiday decorations here. Now we went to another exhibit. This was actually the goat area. So it's pretty much like if you're familiar with the petting zoo, except it's just goats. So the kids can brush their hair, or whoever can brush their hair. They do advise you to only pet them on their back. And they have zookeepers that's standing in there to pretty much watch and make sure everything is going okay. So yeah, those were the two males that they were kind of telling us to be cautious about. And they have those brushes again, so like people can brush them. Now you're only allowed to pet the ones that are actually outside of the stalls. I caught these two brothers that they told us. They were pretty much butting heads, literally. And so you're able to, again, pet them gently. And they're just making sure, everybody is being nice to the animals. That is baby actually petting them by himself. So that's pretty good because usually he just does not care for being around animals too much, but he did pretty good this time. So this is the penguin section. They do have a bench that goes across this whole entire display, so people can just sit down and watch the penguins swim around and just interact with their surroundings. So I actually walked across it because, we were trying to, see all the areas of the zoo. And then I spotted this penguin right here, and I'm like, this one looks like it's about to jump. Is it gonna jump? Is it gonna jump? And sure enough, it dived right in the water, guys, and just swam along with the other penguins. This display is really, really nice. It's clean, like it's just relaxing being there. And of course, they have the cards there that, gives the description of the penguins. So moving further along, we spotted this area, which is a playground for kids. Now I didn't get every single last shot of this playground because I always try to be mindful of people's privacy, but I was trying to show you that they have these fixtures that you can climb on. They have this bird nest with the egg on top, and they have like a slide that goes down. The kids seem like they really enjoyed it, and it's a really big area, and it has like a downwards area and an upstairs area that the kids can just roam around in. So these are more squirrel monkeys. I'm not sure if this is the same display or a different one, but guys, let me tell you something. These things do not like to share. Look at them. It'd rather stuff that treat in its mouth than give it to his friend. He was not having it. So this display was decent size. Maybe it's not the same as the other one, unless it connects from the back. I'm not sure. In this area, they have a cafe, they have a restaurant, and they have an interactive playground that it was unfortunately closed that day. Again, it might have been because the weather hasn't been so good in this area. So they have more paper lanterns to look at. They're actually hanging from the trees. It looks so beautiful despite all the moss hanging around. I've always thought that moss just looks, ugh. But yeah, somehow they made the trees still look nice to look at. So in this area, it is just pretty much like a park. I think it had paper lanterns, it had a fountain on display. So it was just like a nice rest area. So we actually stopped, in this section to look at the map just to see where we wanted to go next. They had beautiful paper lanterns to look at. So it's great for photo ops. You had kids playing around the fountain. And if it's too noisy for you, they actually have a quiet area that you can go to with some restrooms. Some people, don't like all the noise or they need, silence. So they had that area there. More and more bugs. And then we went to Australia, which was fitting because Australia has a lot of bugs. First walking in, I was wondering what those heated lights were for, and it was for this bird. I think it's pronounced a cassowary, but I guess it's native to Australia, and the colors of it look really, really beautiful, and it is a big bird. Now they have another reptile exhibit there when you first go in. It has toads, it has snakes, lizards, and all of that. So this is me just showing you the type of ones that they have. They had that blue snake, and wow, I just didn't know that even existed. In the lorikeet section, this is another area where you can feed the birds, but no worries, if you did not pay for this with your ticket, you can at least walk through. So guys, I am going to warn you, there is a lot of birds in this area. They fly right over your head and they sit on the rail like waiting for you to feed them. So from what I could tell, people have these like spoons or popsicle sticks, and it has like this gel seeded thing where they are feeding the animals and they go right up to you when they eat off of it. So this is actually an emu. I thought the first bird was this, but nope, this is it. And these I think are a little bit larger than that first one. So guys, I was just showing you the vines wrapped around the tree because it was so beautiful. I mean, I just love the natures and the plants that they have around the zoo. Again, it was really, really nice. I was just showing you guys that they have a train that passes by every so often. They do warn you before, that it's coming. And this was the biggest display that they had. And they have these quotes all over. And me and my family was like, wait a minute. Do you see what that says? What? Anyways, I turned around and caught the train going by. But anyways, back to this large paper lantern. This is like the biggest one that they had on display. And look at that walkthrough. Oh my goodness. It is beautiful. Especially you have the bamboo behind it. Oh my goodness. It just looks really, really nice. So going into this area, this is pretty much the Paper Latern Asian Festival area. They do have the koi fish at the bottom of this pond. They are really big. This area was just really, really nice, I'm telling you guys. And so they have these descriptions all along this area. They have the stone dragon statue that is above the water. Again, you have koi fish all over this area. This is the bridge that you can go across, but no strollers, just so you know, because baby was stuck on the other side with dad, but it was okay. They have an area where you can walk around. But yeah, the bridge was really, really nice. The scenery was so nice and calm. It was really nice. The kids really enjoyed it. And then they have a seating area where you can just sit down and enjoy the pond. They had those big old lily pads in there. It just looked really nice, I'm telling you guys. So moving along, they have a bamboo forest. They tell you the meaning of bamboo for, I guess, different countries. But guys, I just really, really like the look of bamboo. It just looks so nice. I don't know. I want this around my house, to be honest. I've always just liked the look of bamboo. And so we are walking along. Now, make sure you look in all the open areas because not only do they have paper lanterns, but they have like little statues and plaques that you can read. These are pandas that they have. And did you guys actually know that bamboo makes noise? Listen to this. So the clicking and squeaking that you hear is actually the bamboo rubbing against each other in the wind. I should have stood there a little bit longer so you guys could hear because I just was not aware that they make noise. So yeah, this was just a little display that they had. Like, it feels like you're really in a forest. Like I said, this is a great nature walk. Now this is the panda paper lanterns that they had on display. This was the one animal that they just had multiple ones of. And then they had like a little section where they had marine animals. The whale one was huge. I had to back out the camera so you guys could see it. They had a large crab, and behind this area is where they have like a restroom walkway by the river. Okay, so like I said, the pandas is the ones that they had the most of, and they had like the zodiac animals there with the description and then the years at the bottom. So this was one where like it wrapped around. So if you don't see your animal on this side, I guess you can wrap around and see the other ones. I don't really believe in zodiac and all that stuff, so I'm just showing you that, guys, that they have that on display. Anyways, guys, next up we have the Komodo dragon area. It's called Komodo Island, and there it goes. Those things, whew, they could be vicious. And anyways, the next up they had like more birds on display. This zoo had plenty of birds to look at. And that was actually a Visayan wild pig. And it was pretty scary looking. Looked completely different from how Pumbaa looked. This is the tiger area, and unfortunately they had a sign that said that, you know, it just gave birth in November, so that area was closed. So I didn't think we were going to see tigers, but then one randomly came out and everybody was in awe. So I also did a short on this. Hopefully you guys check that out. We were completely expecting not to see a tiger, but it went right above our heads. And so everybody followed it into the next section. So just like they had that tunnel for the monkeys, they also have it for tigers as well. But they have this room, and I was kind of hesitant on walking in, but then I seen the gated area. So I kind of got a close up to the tiger, and it literally was walking above my head. It was insane. Everybody was in awe about this. It kind of growled a little bit, and I wish you guys could see its eyes because it just looked like it was pacing back and forth because it wanted to eat us for breakfast. But it was so majestic, just like the lions. It was interesting to see. So I caught the flamingos flapping their wings. Those are the Caribbean tropic flamingos, so they are more of the neon pink ones. Again, that people are more familiar with. They had a wild Florida area, so I guess this area is for animals native to Florida, I'm guessing. So I spotted the alligator head. It was just sitting there waiting. They had a little alligator that goes through the cement, I guess for kids to go on. They had different plaques talking about people and just vegetation and plants all over. I guess that's how Florida is, I guess. Of course, they had another reptile exhibit, and I don't know who the frogs were saluting to. They were all just standing there still in the back. And then they had this huge Burmese python there. It was big, really, really big. And they were both in like the same tank. So in this one, I think this was like a Florida king snake or something like that. I wish I could get closer to this, but this area was so crowded. That was someone that was just playing along with the snake. It was following their finger. These are tegus, I think you pronounce it. These were large lizards that they had. And this one was so strange because it was there. And I was like, is this thing alive or sleeping? I've never heard of this animal ever. But it was not moving, like, at all. Like, I came back and it was still not moving. Anyways, after that, they had some bears. And I kind of was trying to get a good angle of it, but there was a lot of people. So, yeah. They had some information on where you can find them, and then they had these paw prints that you can also find on the ground. So that was just another angle that I was trying to get it at. It was kind of just lounging around. And again, I was showing you guys the footprints that you can find in certain displays. This is the manatee section. They were pretty much just telling us that the manatees that they get are injured, or this one specifically had like a crab cage on it. I was trying to get good footage of that, but it was too crowded. But they pretty much were telling us that they rehabilitate them and then release them back. So these are more birds, more random footprints. And then next off, we've seen a bald eagle. Now, again, if this section gets crowded, which I'm sure it will, there is more of an area where you can walk down. It wraps around, as you can see, so you can get a better angle of it. So this one was kind of sitting under the tree. And let me tell you guys, the bald eagle's eyes are so serious. And that one was a different color. I think that was a hawk. I'm not sure. I didn't see the little place card thingies. So yes, walking further around, they have more lights. I really wish we could have went here at night. But this one is an alligator that they have, and it has like its own little pond. They have some strings hanging on the trees, I guess for decoration. And this is the area where you can pet a stingray, and they have plenty. And guys, these will jump right up and splash. Not jump out, but like they'll lift their head out of the water too, like that. Like the kids were like, oh my gosh. But yeah, if you stick your finger in, they kind of know to go to you, and then they instruct you to rub them like on their back, like in the middle, and to leave their wings alone, and like to not, just be too disruptive. I would say the nice thing about the stingray pool is that they have enough room around the pool for multiple large crowds to be able to stand around there and be able to pet the stingrays. They also have like a hand washing area right in the vicinity, like literally when you turn around. Anyways, next up is another bird exhibit that they have, and these are the cranes. They also have like fish and turtle at the bottom. It just looks really nice in there, and they will fly right above your head, as you can see. You will also get a little whirlwind of feathers. So be careful of your eyes. Now, these are the nests that they have in this display, and it says that it is big enough to hold a grown man in there. So it is pretty interesting thing to learn. This exhibit had plenty of birds that you can look at, just a lot of sightseeing, and you can get like a lot of good pictures in there. So just like the bird exhibit before, they will walk around where you're walking as well. And this section is called the aviary, so there's birds all around. Guys, that was pretty much it as far as the zoo here. Now they do have a gift shop there, but we did not go in because everybody was tired and we were just done for the day. So yeah, that was pretty much it. But you can get different souvenirs there, like stuffed animals, keychains, anything that you can think of, you can get that there. But we decided to pass on that because we were ready to go. Our feet were aching by then. So guys, that is pretty much it as far as the zoo. I definitely recommend. Thank you guys for watching my little travel vlog, and don't forget to like and subscribe.